So I have to say, I'm really excited to have Christal join me today. When I think of the partnership, the support, and I think of just having someone who is always an encouragement herself say, I want to be a part of Power Play. It really just kind of made me feel very excited and rewarding to be officially your mentor, Christal. And so thank you for being a part. And before we jump in and talk about your experience with Power Play, do me a favor and tell us about yourself.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you, Denise, for the opportunity to be on your podcast today. And so, as you indicated, I am Christal Newkirk. I am the CEO and one of the managing partners of Above HR Solutions. I'm also a two-time international best-selling author, as well as a strategic coach. But my favorite role is that of a wife and business partner to my wonderful husband, Rodney Newkirk.
Mm-hmm. That is the best role. You guys are probably one of the couples that really inspire others by the way you show up together and just really do life out loud and love out loud. And so I appreciate that. And so you've got hefty titles there, Christal. You're building an empire, and we talk about that some. And so what made you say, I want to be a part of Power Play? I feel like a mentor will help me. Like, how did you get to that point where this was the best next step?
Yeah. Well, I must be honest, timing is everything. So if I go back to June, my husband and I first said yes to God in June concerning the next step for our business, which was to expand Above HR Solutions. Mm-hmm. But recently, shortly thereafter, I became overwhelmed and completely stressed just with the demands with expanding the business. And it was the first time my husband and I were honestly working together full time. Now, at that time, I didn't know that I need a mentor, but I also plugged in to your 30-day live in June. And I really connected with the words and the golden nuggets that you were sharing in each episode. And I took a step of faith. I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a chance. And I said yes. And I signed up just from that 30-day lives in June.
That's fantastic. You know, I have to say that hearing that being key in your decision makes me feel good, because that was a push for myself too, to really just say, you know what, I'm going to get rid of excuses and really do what I promised, which was show up. And so I'm glad that that is something that resonated with you. Now, tell me a little bit. You know, it was a 60-day journey that going in felt like it was going to be forever, but on the other side of it, it went so quickly. Tell me a little bit about that journey for you and what you feel were some of the key themes that came out.
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to say that Power Play was an answer to my prayers. As I indicated in June, I was overwhelmed. I was stressed and I didn't know what I need. So I took a faith step and said yes to Power Play. But Power Play was educational. It was very encouraging. You are such a supportive person. It was enlightening and knowing that, hey, I am on the right track. But at the same time, you challenged me to look at things differently. So overall, I can say that Power Play was the best investment for my personal and business growth in 2022. Mm-hmm. And it was having that opportunity to sit with you, to learn from the group, and to be open to what's next, to be open to allow someone into my life and take a look at it, and to trust you and trust God in you that you would lead me in the right direction. And that's because I watched you over the last 2 years. We first connected and I first started watching you during the pandemic, during your first Wives Club. But from that, just watching you and having an opportunity to meet you in person earlier this year, to know that the person that I saw online was the exact same person when I met you, had the opportunity to meet you in person in April. So that was my experience.
That's fantastic, Christal. You're going to make me bubble up here a little bit. And so, you know, as I'm sitting here thinking about the journey, I can remember when you came in, you had all your business objectives that you wanted to meet. And then it was maybe about halfway through the process that you were like, whoa, this is more working on me as a person than it is these goals I had. But what's interesting is when you worked on you, those goals wheels just started rolling off for you. And so one of the things that I say all the time that I don't think people always make the connection with it, I think your experience magnified, is that when we work on ourselves, those other things, somehow they just begin to move forward. And so tell me a little bit about that part of the journey for you.
And that was definitely one of my key takeaways. When I said yes to God, to expanding the business, being a type A personality, I just ran with it. I'm like, put me in the game, coach. Give me the baton. I am running to the end zone. What I didn't calculate, and one of my key takeaways was, what did Christal need? And I realized that that was something that was also that I did in my personal life. Mm-hmm. So one of my key takeaways is understanding what I need and communicating what I need. Mm-hmm. Even more so now working with my husband in the business and knowing, being able to tell him what I need in addition and not still, because when we first started working, I still was doing 90% of the work and only gave him 10%. So another takeaway was understanding that small changes would make big results or yield big results. I was still going for the Hail Marys and doing it very big, and I needed to slow down. So understanding that I could slow walk the process and do it with my husband versus me coming in and thinking about the end, driving results in the end, and knowing what do I need. That was another key takeaway for me. And that is something that I'm still implementing today. And something I focus on daily and weekly is, what is the small change, and focus on maybe one thing versus several things. And that's helped me in identifying, why was I feeling overwhelmed? Why was I feeling stressed? It's because I was taking on too much. Another key takeaway from the mentoring program was my self-care strategy. Now, anyone that follows me knows that I am big on exercise and also healthy eating. But what I needed to do was I needed to up my game. My demands were greater, so I needed to put more time on my calendar, block my calendar for daily, weekly, monthly self-care. So what does that look like daily? That means, Christal, you cannot afford to mix lunch. Sometimes I would work 8, 9, 10-hour days and miss lunch, but that wasn't the best of my full day. So those were just a key takeaways that I'm still implementing and still working through today since the mentoring program.
Love it. I love catching up with you and hearing how you're continuing to evolve, how you're continuing to allow what you discovered about yourself in that season, in the experience of Power Play, still motivate you through your steps even now. To me, that's phenomenal. And so before we wrap up, why don't you tell me, if you had to make the recommendation to someone who was considering the program, who do you perceive it's a fit for, and what would you want them to know?
Yes. Well, as you know, even when I said yes, before even saying yes, I had already recommend individuals to you, because I believe in you and what you do, because you've shown to be true and consistent. And also your lifestyle speaks of that, which you do. But since I've had an opportunity to work more closely with you, I would say anyone considering change or desiring a change, and they want accountability, they want strategic partnership, and they're ready to do the work, those are the individuals that I have shared the program with and that I would continue to share, because that's how it's impacted my life. So I've had an opportunity to share it with my network of female entrepreneurs and share with them that when launching a business or expanding your business, you need a mentor on your team. You need to build out your power team. And what other way than Power Play? So
that's phenomenal. I love it, Christal. I want to continue to wish you the best of success. I know that you are still climbing to the heights of everything that God has revealed for you. He's given you a big vision, and I do not want you to whittle it down, not one bit. I want you to experience everything that He has shown you. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you and all that you've done and impacting my life, my family, and my marriage.
Oh.